Kerry Sands. Call Me Sheep, How Looking at Social Interactions on Sheep Can Change Human Perceptions.
Hi everyone, I'm Kerry Sands. Today I'm presenting the work of a fellow student, Marika Bell, who couldn't be here today. And we're both anthrozoology master students at the University of Exeter. So the title of this research is Call Me Sheep, How Looking at the Social Interactions of Sheep Can Change Human Perceptions. Okay, so I'd like to start with a few questions for you to think about. Firstly, what is a sheep? If you follow a Kantian ontology, then sheep exist primarily or completely for the use of humanity. Sheep are, of course, domesticated herbivores and prey animals that require human protection. They're found primarily in farms, in fields, as landscape. And for many humans, the purpose of a sheep is to become a meal or a jumper. Symbolically, then, the term sheep is used to describe a human with mild mannerisms, a follower, or someone who can't think for themselves, and we've all probably heard of the term sheeple. However, from a cosmological perspective, we could describe sheep as a sort of people. People defined by Ingold as having, quote, intention and purposes, unquote. A people not like human people, but given their own preferences and type of intelligence and sociality. So just as human people, sheep can be actants, with a subjective view of the world in which they are the main protagonist. They may demonstrate this view with the ability to seize agency and motivated by their own personal preferences. So we often compare animal intelligence to human intelligence, probably for perspective. However, this is a really anthropocentric view of intelligence, and it isn't helpful when we're looking at non-human animals. Okay, so what did Marika do? So the methods and biographies. From October the 7th until December the 7th, on a rural farm sanctuary in Lancashire, a mixed history flock of 20 individuals were observed, and their interactions and behaviour of 3 of those particular sheep were analysed. Marika also conducted 50 voice-recorded check-ins to document distances between individual sheep, and she used a term she described as sheep length to actually specify those particular distances. Their behaviour was then interpreted using methods described by Hamilton as interspecies empathy, or embodied knowledge. And Shapiro's kinesthetic awareness and the knowledge of the individual sheep's biographies also contributed to her egomorphic perception of the sheep as subject actors in choosing their preferred companions. And these interpretations built an understanding of the relationships between 3 particular sheep, Swayze, Mojo, and Endora, as you can see there, and their human caregivers. So we're proposing that research like this can have an impact on the human understanding of sheep as persons. So a little bit about each of the sheep. So on the left there you have Swayze. We could describe Swayze's personality as avoidant. Of 47 observations, Marika noted that more than half of these, she noted that Swayze was more than 10 sheep's length from others in the flock. And Swayze also carried out a role that could be akin to a lookout. Mojo's behaviour in the middle there was, Mojo, it was suggested that Mojo has an affinity or connection with Swayze and Endora. He was observed 13 times in close proximity to both of these individuals. And then Endora on the right-hand side, she was particularly avoidant of human caregivers and spent significant periods in proximity to 2 other sheep who were also avoidant of human caregivers. So what do these results tell us? Well, in summary, the results show that using proximity allows the observer an objective way of analysing the preferences of sheep, and probably other species too. Each sheep demonstrated a preference for other specific sheep. And using critical anthropomorphism, this research proposes a model for actually seeing animals by taking a short period of time each day and looking at who that animal chooses to spend their time with. Also, by documenting proximity and behaviour observations over time, allowed the observer the ability to become egomorphically aware of the animals as individuals. Of course, this has ramifications in terms of welfare and human behaviour change. So this model particularly allows a discovery of preferences that can lead to better welfare and well-being of the animals in question. And this is helpful in helping us to develop more of a care ethic and helping us to overcome some of the contradictions that we might be faced with when we're seeking empathy with animals, but also trying to reconcile that with our consumption of them. And of course, advocacy groups may gain support through public acceptance and funding through better understanding of non-human animal lives and relationships. So if you've got particular questions about Marika's research, then you can email her at marika@hollinhall.farm, and you can see the references there and also get a copy of her full research article. Thank you.